I'm so happy to be here today with Abilities Expo Chairman, Lou Shomer. Hi, Lou. How are you?
Hi, Donna. I'm really good. You look great. Haven't seen you in enough time.
Oh, I know. It's been a long time, but we've known each other for a long time. And thank you for being on the Today Show LA, the Disability Channel. And I wanted to talk to you. First of all, I haven't talked to you in a long time, but tell me, first of all, what did you do before Abilities Expo?
Well, yeah, I'm an old guy, so I did a lot before Abilities Expo. But my career started with IBM in New York, and that was in the 60s. But more recently, I spent 25 years doing career fairs, and Shomer Productions, which was my company, was the largest producer of diversity career fairs in the country. And as a matter of fact, we did the first accessible career fair for people with disabilities in 1990 in Long Beach. So I've been in that area of doing expos and shows for a long time. Before that, I was with a company called Comdex, which was the largest trade show in the country at the time, which was all about computers and computer technology.
That's wonderful. Now, the Abilities Expo is the largest expo for the latest in technology for people with disabilities, their families and caretakers, and they have so many things there. I've known you for a long time, but the first time that I went there, I looked around and I was just so inspired. And there were many, many workshops, seminars, and entertainment for everyone there. And I want to thank you personally for the opportunity to dance there with a dance company that is adaptive, and with Tam Warner, our choreographer. We had people with disabilities and people with did not have disabilities, and we were able to show our dancing, and I just love that. I loved all the technology around there. And can you talk about some of the things that are there for people with disabilities and their families?
We have a whole range, Donna, of everything from catheters to large accessible recreational vehicles. In the last couple of shows, we've had Winnebago, which has a $300,000 accessible recreational vehicle, which is kind of spectacular with all the latest technology, all remote controlled ramps, tie downs for wheelchairs, whether it's power chairs or manual chairs, living conditions. Everything is done for people with disabilities. It's very accessible. But the other things that we have range from purpose-built types of products to products which are on the market for people who either have things like spinal cord injuries or CP or any kind of disease, where they need some type of equipment that's going to make their life easier and make their life more independent. Because I think the real benefit of Abilities Expo is making people more independent, so they're not relying on caregivers all the time. We have a lot of robotics types of equipment. We've got different types of beds, different types of exercise equipment. So there's really a range of just about everything, from assistive technology to, as I said, recreational vehicles, SUVs, vans, chairs, etc. And in Los Angeles,
you have assistive dogs, assisting animals, and all of these things are just so needed to give people independence. And I just saw so many things that made people's lives easier, and that really touched my heart as they walk around the Abilities Expo. And I just want to thank you. It's been 40 years now. It's been going for like 40 plus years.
Yeah, it started in 1979 with Dick and Pat Wooten. Dick had polio, and he was in a wheelchair. He was a wheelchair user, and he and his wife would go around looking for various types of products, and they'd have to go from dealer to dealer. And some of the dealers, they were in San Diego, and some of the dealers weren't in San Diego. They might have been in Los Angeles, which means that's a day driving up and driving back. And so he and Pat said, well, why don't we just put together an expo and bring all the products to the people, as opposed to having the people having to go and find the products. And so that's how Abilities started. The first show was in Anaheim, and then the second show was in New Jersey, which we call Metropolitan New York. And those are the two largest shows that we have. The Wootens then sold the shows to a company that sold the shows to another company, and then we bought the company. David and I, David Course, my business partner, David and I bought the shows in 2008 from a company called Questex in Massachusetts. So we've had the show now for going on 14 years. And we had two shows. There was one show in Minneapolis, which was such a disaster that we had to cancel the next year. But then we started launching shows. The first two were Chicago and Atlanta. We were in Atlanta for 5 years, but we just couldn't get support from the community. It was difficult to get space. Georgia World Congress Center was always full, so there was very limited parking. But then we expanded literally from 2 shows to now we do 7 shows, pretty much all over the country. We do the New Jersey show, Los Angeles. We're going to do Chicago at the end of June. We then do Houston, Phoenix. We're launching in Miami this year, and then Dallas.
Wow. And you're going to go to Canada, right? Too?
Well, we just were in Canada 2 weeks ago.
Jeez, that's amazing. This is just taken off. I mean, of course, it's been a long journey, but it's just amazing how far you've gone with this. And I, for one, am very thankful, and there are many, many people out there that are very thankful. And I'm going to let us go on a commercial break right now to give us a little break from talking, and we'll be right back.
Okay.
All about inclusion and really giving everyone a fair say.
Welcome to the Today Show. This is our flagship show. I am Unstoppable Tracy.
I am Zach Damon.
It is a pleasure to be here. I am excited. What is up?
We have a great show today.
Jay Stoyan here for the Disability Channel, the world's only inclusive channel for and by persons with disabilities.
Get ready to be inspired, everyone.
We have people watching from all over the world, but also all over Ontario.
We also take a concerted attention in the veterans community.
In moments of stress and trauma, we can get a hold of ourselves.
To help make a difference for people with disabilities, to show people how to love themselves or their disability.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys having me, giving this platform for myself and other people with disabilities.
Thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this episode of the Disability Channel Detroit. Please tune in next time.
Here I am back with Lou, my favorite person, one of my favorite people. And we flew out, I remember, to San Jose, and we did a weekend. We performed, we danced at the expo, and that was the most lovely experience. I have and will always be in my memory and my life. And thank you for that. And I met so many wonderful dancers there too. I met Auntie Angel, and who I'm really sad to say, but she's not here with us. But Auntie and Chelsea of the Rockettes, of the Rolettes. I'm sorry, Rolettes. Yeah, they roll. And when I saw all this in front of me, I thought, wow, this is amazing. There is a place for us to be. And I will tell you one thing, when I have muscular dystrophy. So, and I was a dancer all my life. And I said, well, what am I going to do now? You know, how am I going to be able to dance? I looked up Auntie Angel. I looked up dance wheelchairs, and I saw her picture there, and she forever inspired me. And I said, it can work. It can happen. And this woman is shows me.
Well, first of all, Donna, I think that the most creative dance routine that I've ever seen was you and the dance routine that Tam Warner put together with the two able-bodied professional dancers. And I still watch that today, and tears come to my eyes, because I think it's just the most beautiful expression of life, and which it is. And of course, you did the routine at our show in Los Angeles and then San Jose. And we first met Audie at our first show. And Audie was truly an inspiration, because she was an angel. She was the Pied Piper. She would be able to show people what she could do with her disability, and then to bring people with all kinds of disabilities. I mean, we would watch Audie bring in an audience of kids from 3 years old to 80 years old or 85 years old, and bring them in and have them dance. And it would show people that regardless of the disability, that they can do whatever they really want to do, and they can achieve that. And Audie was a great inspiration. We, in her honor, we've named our events arena the Audie Angel Events Arena. And she passed away too early. She was only 50 years old. And she was diagnosed with cancer, which ran in her family. But she did so much for Abilities Expo, and so much for especially the dance routines, because and you and Tam really started it. Chelsea was only 19 years old at the time, and now Chelsea has her own dance group, because it's 14 years later. So we've really been able to see people grow. Dancing is still the most popular item that we have in all of our events. Yes. So people love it, and they love to get out and participate. It's a very immersive type of event.
And they can see that it is possible. And through Auntie and Chelsea and the Abilities Expo, they can see that things are possible. What do you see in the future for Abilities Expo? Do you see it going to other countries? Maybe that would be amazing.
That's a good question. We were just in Canada. We think Canada is certainly a neighboring country and a good market. We attempted to do a show in Singapore, which actually Audie attended. That was back in 2009 or 2010. The only problem was that there was only one distributor in Singapore, and he represented about 30 of our exhibitors, so that the exhibitors weren't there. It was all one distributor. So that didn't work out. We've talked to people about bringing abilities to other countries. There really aren't any abilities types of shows in the other countries, because we're business to the consumer. The other big trade shows are business to business, and RIHA is probably the biggest. That's in Düsseldorf every other year. And they've tried to do business to consumer, but their real strength is business to business. So they sell to dealers and distributors, and they show off the new products. However, what we are finding, Donna, is that we're getting more and more interest from people who are manufacturing products outside of the United States, and they want to bring them to the United States. In Chicago, we have an Australian venture capital company that's got 3 of their startups going to be exhibiting in Chicago under Australia. I've had interest from people from Korea, from the trade mission in Spain, and they all have companies that are developing accessible products. And obviously, I think that's a way for us to expand, is to bring in products that have been developed outside of the United States, but allow them the opportunity to sell to the United States, because we're still the biggest market in the world.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. I'm so happy to hear that. I am ambassador of Abilities Expo Los Angeles, and it's an honor to be that. And I'm so happy to, promote and do things in the way that I can to help Abilities Expo. During the virtual, like 2020, 2021, such tough years, and I'm sure it was really, really hard for Abilities Expo as well. We did things virtually. Like I was with the dance company ZCO dance project, and we did something virtually for one of the workshops, and wanted to know from you, when there was COVID and the wearing of masks, and people were doing virtually, that was a whole pivot for you guys.
It was, and it was an expensive pivot, because we really didn't understand what we were doing. It was all new to us. We tried to put together a production value, and I thought we did a good job, because we had Pauline as our host for 2 of the 3 virtual shows. As you know, we had dance routines, we had comedy routines, we had original songs. So we had a lot of live events, as well as the workshops and the exhibit floor. However, the problem that we ran into is that the exhibitors felt that they weren't really engaging with the viewers, and they weren't able to show them, sit in my chair, or look at how this works. So the exhibitors didn't quite get the return on their investment as we expected. On the other hand, it was important for us to remain relevant in the marketplace and tell the marketplace still here.
Of course.
We had, I think in our second virtual event, we had 19,000 people pre-register. We had at least 100 people from New Zealand and Australia who came in during the hours that we were working. So obviously it's got a universal and a global appeal, and we still shows people, but virtual from a return on investment just didn't work. It cost too much money to produce, and the sponsors just weren't there to support us.
Well, I know that you went back to, live shows, and hopefully this is going to be continuing, and we'll see a lot more, and we won't have to go through that rough time again.
We truly hope so.
Yeah. So I'm going to take another commercial break, and we'll be right back.
All about inclusion and really giving everyone a fair say.
Welcome to the Today Show. This is our flagship show. I am Unstoppable Tracy.
I am Zach Damon.
It is a pleasure to be here. I am excited. What is up?
We have a great show today.
Jay Stoyan here for the Disability Channel, the world's only inclusive channel for and by persons with disabilities.
Get ready to be inspired, everyone.
We have people watching from all over the world, but also all over Ontario.
We also take a concerted attention in the veterans community.
In moments of stress and trauma, we can get a hold of ourselves.
To help make a difference for people with disabilities, to show people how to love themselves or their disability.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys having me, giving this platform for myself and other people with disabilities.
Thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this episode of the Disability Channel Detroit. Please tune in next time.
Hi, Lou.
Hi, Donna.
Welcome back, everyone.
Yep.
I want to kind of give some closing thoughts and some thoughts that you might want to close with, what you might want to say before we leave. And I just want to say that I just enjoy being ambassador, and I enjoy having you here. And maybe next time we can get David. And I wish the best for Abilities Expo. And is there something that you would like to say before we leave the fine audience here?
Yeah, well, first of all, I really want to acknowledge your role as an ambassador. It's very important for us to have people in the community who can advise us on what's going on, because you're part of the community all the time, and we're skipping from city to city, and you were part of the original ambassador program, and that was very important to us, and still is very important to us, because we get inside information. Whether you see a product that you think that there should be featured at Abilities Expo, whether you see trends in the marketplace, whether you see problems that are occurring with Medicare payments and insurance payments and stuff like that, that's all important for us to know. So your job as an ambassador is extremely important to us, and I want to really thank you, because you've been great for us.
Thank you. How can people get in? What is the website that people can go on for Abilities Expo? So I want to give them some information where they can contact, find out some more about the show. It's abilities.com.
Unknown caller.
And on abilities.com, you'll see the expos, you'll see resources. The other thing is that we've got a lot of information that goes through our social media. So we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And once you go to the site, you can pick up where we are on all the social media applications. In fact, we find that now we're getting about 60% of our audiences all coming through social media. We used to do a lot of public media because we felt that 1 out of every 6 people in the United States has a disability. They're touched by 1 or 2 people. So that really means that 1 out of every 2 people either has a disability, knows somebody with a disability, has a family member with a disability. So we reach a significant amount of people in the United States. And we find that going through social media and specific groups, such as people with MD or MS or CP, that we can reach them directly and tell them what we've got and where we're going to be. So that's the way to go. it's abilities.com, and then /expo, and then you can see what the expos are, or you can just get information. We'd like people to sign up for the Buzz, which is our monthly newsletter, where we have really interesting stuff on what people are doing, where people are going. Travel is a really important part of our show. A lot of people want to go out and travel. There's a huge market for travel. And also you'll see the latest products and services that are available. And some of them are really interesting. We had in Los Angeles, and a German company has a product where you put on eyeglasses, or if you have eyeglasses, it's sort of like the Google Eye. And if they're in a power chair, literally you can move your head side to side or front to back, and you can move your chair. So it's really interesting technology. Stuff's happening all the time.
That's fantastic. And it's great that people have access to this. And it's wonderful that things are becoming inclusive. And, you know, such as dance and yoga. They have chair yoga now, which I do. I just got my certification in chair yoga.
Oh,
it
wow.
seemed the natural thing to do from dancing, you know? So I'm just excited about everything that's happening, and I love you guys, and wish Abilities Expo continued successes. And thank you for being a guest on Los Angeles Today's show.
Thanks for inviting
the Disability Channel.
Thanks for inviting me, Don. It's always a pleasure catching up, and hope to see you soon in person.
Yes. And tell your family I said hello, Claire. Tell all the team at Abilities Expo, David and Kevaline and everyone that Donna says hi, and hopefully I can have David on sometime.
Okay, I'll tell him. Thanks, Donna.
Yes, please.
Thanks,
Love
Chris.
you.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.